Good afternoon, folks. The real Captain Kirk here, live from Weather Trends 360 studio. It is the 9th of July, Tuesday afternoon. Had some excitement here this afternoon. We'll talk about on ESPN radio here today, but we'll talk about that here at the end. Real quick, Gulf of Mexico tropical threat. Kind of unusual here. You're seeing a system that's land-based, a typical land-based system, but it's as it moves out over the really warm Gulf of Mexico waters. Has about an 80% chance, according to the Hurricane Center, of becoming a tropical depression, maybe a tropical storm. So, again, a chance out there. Again, not looking for a major hurricane at this point, but, again, it'll hug the coast toward New Orleans. So if it does develop, it'll be certainly a lot of rain in that northern Gulf of Mexico. The concern is this mid-latitude type low-pressure system gets over that warm Gulf, where we got 3, 4, 5 degree above average water temperatures, it'll turn into more tropical characteristics. So we'll see. It'll be here in the next couple days if indeed it does form. Looking at the hot 90-degree days here to date, map on the chart on the left is U.S. year to date. Still down about 28% versus last year, but that's kind of about exactly average as of right now for the nation as a whole. Still the coolest number of hot days in 4 years nationally, but we're picking up a few here. If we look at July to date here on our chart on the right, still down 14% from the really hot July last year, but again, about 12% above average. So it's, again, still here so far in July. While we've finally had some hot days in the east, it's still the coolest or fewest in 3 years. So hot, but not as hot as it's been. If we look at this week, 9 through 15 July, nationally, again, warm on the East Coast, warm in the Rockies, cool in the Northwest, cool in the Central U.S. So overall, nationally, I'd say it's the coolest in 4 years, 14th warmest in 30, so kind of in the middle of the pack, about average on a national scale. Wettest in 9 years, second wettest in 30 years. And again, we'll have to watch that North Gulf, Louisiana, New Orleans, maybe into Florida, TBD on this tropical system, but certainly could see some 5, 6, 7, 8 inch plus rainfall totals with that tropical system if it does develop. Looking at next week, 16 through 22 July, coolest in 5 years nationally. Again, still pretty much the same pattern. Warm on the East Coast, cool in the middle, and hot in the Rockies, and cool in the Northwest. So coolest in 5, 11th coolest in 30 years nationally, number one wettest in 30 years. Again, we'll have to watch where that tropical moisture heads, but right now it looks like it might head into southeast and then up the Appalachians here into next week. So just a slow-moving system. Looking at the aggregate here for the world overall for the 2 weeks as a whole, Europe's cooled off considerably, much cooler now in Europe, especially as we get more toward Eastern Europe. Again, warm East Coast, warm Rockies, cool in the middle. Rainfall, again, pretty heavy. Again, tropical moisture in the North Central Gulf. East Coast certainly going to be stormy with a lot of thunderstorm activity. Get to the fun stuff here about the ESPN radio show we did here this morning with folks at Faith on the field with Pastor Kyle, Remy, and Rob, and Doug, and just a great group of folks. I was completely embarrassed. They normally bring on these guys like Carson Wentz and Tim Tebow, rock star, superstar athletes, which I am not. I think I told you my funny story where I, in high school football, blindsided our tackle, who was about 300 pounds, and the rest of the game, he was trying to smush me like a bug, and he was very successful at it. So, again, it was just great to be on the show today. We'll share the segment here later this week. I think comes out Thursday and toward the weekend. But again, just a great group of folks, and you may recognize the lady there on the left, Remy. She was on Bridezilla's, and Rob there next to her husband is a pretty famous national sports writer. So it's great to be with the folks today. Again, had a great time, and again, just positive, high energy. It's good sometimes to meet folks that really brighten your day. Need a lot of energy with the little one. Again, of course, have to do a little Angelina Kirk update. We spend the 4th of July weekend here coloring on the deck, and I've come to realize that I'm going to need a bigger deck. Little Picasso here is drawing her flags, and here she's drawing a really big one. So watch here at the end as she gets really excited about what she just drew here. So I'll stop for a second.
There it is.
So, of course, the little one just loves her flags and anything America. So with that, folks, God bless you, and we will be back here this time next week.